In this episode, I'm going to show you how I set up to shoot this photo. Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how I shoot inside my Galen's row mock, which is a series of facades that I connect together at the base with some Technic pins. I'm going to just open that right now and show you that over here I've got a bunch of Technic bricks, and I use these pins just to connect them on the sides, like as if I were going to display it or create a scene that way, or connect them together like if they were an alley, just like this. Okay, so that's snapped together. I have some lanterns in there with some practical lights, so you'll see that I've got these wires and a battery connected, so I can turn these on. These are really fiddly, but I use this when I'm shooting like night scenes, or I want to mix flash in there with some ambient light. So this one I'm not going to connect because that's not going to be inside the scene. Today I want to shoot with this minifigure, which is a custom that I just made the other night. The scene is I want to have him like coming home and seeing his cat. So I'm going to place him in Galen's row, and I'm just going to like slightly connect him to the base. I'm not going to fully connect him because I like it when they're just slightly tilted. And I have this new little kitten that I got, which will be like the object of what he's looking at. So I'm just going to set that up loosely here to see how that looks and check out what that looks like in the camera. Okay. So I have my camera set way back over here. This is where the end of my ledge is. And so I just bring this closer so I can get a better shot of this. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is add my backlighting. So I do that with a flash. This is a standard flash on its mini light stand. This is a very mini light stand. Okay, so I'm going to get it just like that. So this should be, the idea is I want the light hitting the back of this Viking. I think I'm gonna name him Kettle or something. So I just have my flash on. There's nothing on the flash. It's just a bare flash because I like hard light when I'm backlighting. That helps separate the subject with light, and it gives it like a nice little glow around the edges, which is something I always look for in people's photography. The next thing I'm going to set up is my key light. And this is mounted to my wall and just has a small softbox. Okay, so I'm going to just move it over here so you can see what this looks like. This is basically a small flash. This is smaller than that flash. That's a standard size flash. And I just have one of these small soft boxes to soften the light, to diffuse the light. And I'm going to use this on top of the Viking here, on top of Kettle. Right, so I'm going to set my exposure. So the first thing I always do is I set my aperture because I want to see how much of the scene I want in focus. So aperture is always what I set first, and I'm using a manual lens, so the aperture control is actually on the lens, it's not on the camera. This is a decision about storytelling, your aperture. So I have it at f8 so I can see some things in the build. Now I have the build open in the back, and you can see that in the photo. So what I have is this wall that I built. It's just a generic wall. So I can put it behind and like close off the back of that set. Okay, so let's take that shot. I was holding my camera, which I normally don't do. I tend to always shoot with this, a shutter release. This is like 10 bucks, not even 10 bucks. And all it does is allow me to just shoot. Even though I've got this key light lighting the minifig inside, because it's hitting him at an angle, it's not really lighting his face. So what I can do is this. Well, let me show you what it is first. It's just a piece of white paper that I'm going to add so it can bounce up some of that light from here. So that's it. I'm not going to like try to mess around with that. It's just there, and it will bounce some light back onto him. One more thing I'm going to add is this long LED panel. I generally use these to light either over the entire row, or I use it on the back to light the windows. So let me get a battery. So this thing is like $20, and I use this quite a bit. I don't always mix my LEDs with flash, but it's useful to have different kinds of lighting. So I have flash, I have my ambient light, and I have these LEDs. There we go. I'm just gonna put it behind, and what this does is gonna light up these windows so that it creates a little bit more of interest. I mean, lighting for me is just super important, especially if you have like a build. I think I need some mist. So all I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna spray just a little bit, let it settle, and then shoot. And basically that's it. So the essential things here are my trigger, I have my mister, I have a standard flash on a mini stand. So this standard flash is like $60. It's probably the cheapest flash you can get, and this is all you need. I have my main flash here in a softbox to diffuse the light and to just light the Viking frontally. I have it bouncing this light off of this little piece of white paper. It's basically cardstock. Not really essential, but these LEDs that I have inside the lanterns are for train models. And that's basically it. That's my entire workflow for shooting inside Galen's row. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. This is 4 Bricks Tall.